Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jamil from Honest Sense. I'm going to be doing a fragrance review from the house of Better World Fragrance. This is Summer Mink. Obviously, this is the 30 mil. I actually bought this off Macari, and just before I get into this review, what made me actually go out into Ulta just to smell this fragrance and everything is because I was watching a lot of people reviews about this fragrance. So I had it was a lot of people who had a different opinion about the fragrance, and this what made me go out there and smell it. But I wasn't gonna buy it at the time. So, but again, I just felt that everybody said that this fragrance did smells good, but also I just wanted to get my own opinion about this fragrance. I wanted to get a couple of few wearings of this fragrance for me to go out and do a fragrance review. So anyway, this supposedly Drake fragrance and everything, and I'm not gonna put too much into this. Actually talking about this fragrance, but I'm gonna tell you straight off the back, it does smells very very nice, and I do like this fragrance. If you go back to and watch some of my fragrance reviews, I do not like fragrance that smells feminine. So, obviously, so you already know how I feel about this fragrance right here. So anyway, I got the notes off Fragrantica. Obviously the top notes is citrus, clary sage, and petitgreen. In the mid is jasmine, rose, and spices. And the base is musk and red vetiver. So I'm actually going to do a spray on my arm. As you right here. Now, number one, I will tell you, I do like the bottle of this fragrance. Well, it's actually like the little sphere of this fragrance, little circular little ball. It remind me like a little like Pokemon balls and stuff like that. That's what it remind me of. But anyway, um, this fragrance bottle is blue, and I do think that this is something that I think that um, this is kind of like, if this was pink, then you would say, this is a feminine bottle. But then if it's blue, you would say it's leaning more unisex or meaning masculine. But to me, I like the. I just wish if the bottle was something like more like a Bulgari bottle, like marine, where you just spray from here like that. I would have been happy with that. Um, I'm not really too much crazy with the bottle because you got to take off the cap and stuff like take off this off and spray. It just kind of looked too much more feminine to me. There's a lot of feminine bottles that have really this type of concept of it. So yeah, so that's why I'm not too much crazy about the bottle and nothing like that. But I do like the presentation that the box comes in. I don't have the box on with me right now. I know that this fragrance runs for like $86 at the local Ulta, but I got this for like $35 off Macari. And I think that when I actually bought the fragrance from the person on Macari, and they says that to them it smells very very feminine to them. Now now to me, again, as I said in this video, I don't like too much. I don't like feminine fragrance at all. I'm masculine. I mean, I like unisex, but I like, if it's unisex, got to be leaning much more towards the masculine. So but anyway, when I first initially spray this fragrance, it's fresh and it's powdery. I mean, it's not overly powdery, but it's more dominant with the fresh, being fresh. And that's coming along with that clary sage and just a little bit of citrus. Even though I said that in the mid in this fragrance, when you actually break it down, it has jasmine and it has rose and it has spices. But as soon as you initially spray this fragrance, you're gonna get some citrus. You're gonna get this freshness that's coming from this clary sage and this petitgreen. This petitgreen kind of make it more like a little bit. It bring it extra along that citrus. of, even though peppermint is not a citrus, but it kind of like in this one, it kind of makes it feels um like a little bit of citrus, of woodiness, along with this fragrance, along with that, also with that clary sage. It got this citrus, and this citrus to me is feels like it's more um like a um like a little bit of a mandarin orange or something like that, but not like a juicy sweet mandarin orange. And it's more like a orange blossom, if you want to really say it's like an orange blossom more than any of the citrus. So, but then you get this jasmine. The jasmine is actually making this fragrance come very powdery. This rose that's opposite in the mid. I get a little faint of rose, not like heavy rose. It's just not like a dominant rose. The rose just sits in the background along with the spices. The spices sits in the background. Everything sits in the background, um, except that musk. The musk. This is a very musky fragrance. The musk is the main player when it comes to this fragrance right here. The musk. Um, Obviously the even though the musk is in the base, but I would say the musk is just right up there. The musk is the one that's gonna last the whole duration of this fragrance. It's gonna be very musky. Also you gonna get some spices. The spice is gonna be warm. It's gonna be real warm spices. Also, this fragrance always gonna stay fresh. I really like it. I mean, so when I first received, again, when I first smelled this fragrance at Ulta, I was like, yo, I like it. But I wasn't gonna buy it. You know what I mean? I just wanna just do my research and see if I can get it for cheaper elsewhere. And obviously Macari was the place that I can get it for cheap. Also, I do sell my fragrance on Macari as well, which is J Millie Millie. Yeah, so I end up buying this fragrance, which I really do enjoy. So get into the meat and the potatoes about this fragrance. So I know a lot of time people feel that this fragrance is come off feminine, more leaning. I can see that a woman wearing this fragrance because it's it's very it's unisex. And I think it kind of listed that this fragrance is going to be unisex. But to me, this fragrance, if you smell many different women perfumes and you smelling it, if just say if you go to the mall and you say, oh, okay, let me smell this flower bomb from women. Oh, let me smell this fragrance, smell this fragrance, smell this fragrance. And you start smelling women fragrance and you compare this to those fragrances that you smelling, obviously you'll know this is leaning unisex, leaning more masculine. And when I mean leaning more masculine, let me get to the scale. I would say is this fragrance, that says 1 is feminine and 10 is leaning more masculine. This fragrance takes me always at the 7. So it's not extremely masculine, but it's more like above the unisex. So it's not 5, it's not 6, it's leaning more 7 in my, compared to my nose. I actually sprayed this on a couple other females. It's like, oh my God, I like this. One girl actually wants to buy this from me because she likes it. But also, if you're a type of guy that you like, you more dealing with Creativentus, you're dealing with the Onwatch, Interlude Man, and you're dealing with Initial Ooh for Greatness, and maybe this one will, cause you would probably feel like this is leaning more feminine because it's not them, it's not that type of fragrance that this is not that those overly masculine fragrance. This is, again, like I said, it's unisex, leaning more masculine. When I mean ooh for greatness, I mean that's a straight a freaking 10. Like when it comes to masculinity. I always thought that ooh, not ooh for greatness, initial which I used to own, which I ended up selling that one. It was the purple bottle, and yeah, I forget the name of it. It's the purple bottle, and I felt that that one's was more feminine to me, But again, unisex, but you know, leaning more feminine. That's what it come off of my skin. But this one right here is unisex and meaning a little bit more on the masculine side. Um, to me, I just think this fragrance is more of a fragrance that's good for the spring. Yeah, like the spring, fall time. The weather when it's like around like 40 degrees up to 60 degrees. To me, I don't look at this fragrance as being summer. I just think that if you wear this in the summer, it probably get a little bit more glowing to me. For the crazy thing about it is that it projects a little bit more in the heat. Like last week, we got like in the 70s, almost 80s. Like last week, I think what day it was, I think it was like on a Wednesday or something like that up in here in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area. And it got warm, like really warm. And where I'm driving, I had to really cut on my air on my AC. So the weather that I actually really test this fragrance on, it was around like in the 60s, which I do like. This fragrance could be obviously even worn during the day, the evening, and the night. To me, it's more casual, but you could dress this up, obviously dress this down. The longevity on this one is very, very spotty. I would say it's more of my testing. I was getting between 6 to 8 hours, but when it come to the projection, it's between like 30 minutes to 2 hours, like whatever it was. And I'm going about four sprays, five sprays, right here to the neck, to the chest, the back of the neck, and I was set to go. The compliments, yes, I had received a whole lot of compliments, especially from the women, and every time I got a compliment from a woman, I asked them, I said, "Yo, do this smell feminine?" And the people that knows me with fragrance and everything, they just felt like it was just different from knowing what I normally wear. They didn't says, "Yo, would you with a woman?" Something like that. They didn't say that. They just says they like it. Just something that they will obviously wear, but 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 they also, when I sprayed it on their skin, they did says it's they will wear it, but it is leaning more masculine. And so obviously I did that testing as well. But overall, this is a great fragrance. To me, my recommendation, I like this like in the spring, going to the fall, weather between 40 to 60 to 40 degrees to 60 degrees. Obviously, the longevity, like I said, was between 6 to 8 hours. The projection between 30 minutes to 2 to 3 hours. I mean, it's casual. I mean, you could dress up, dress down. You don't got to be all into no suit and tie. This a type of fragrance that I wouldn't wear this fragrance, like, let's say, like, I'm not saying like most guys do that, but like if you walking and you got a guy who's sagging their pants, and no, this is not that. This is a guy who's gonna be obviously well dressed. Meaning well dressed, meaning in some jeans that fitted, some fitted jeans, a nice fitted hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Like not those type of guys that you may see on the corner. This is not for them. I mean, this is not for them. I mean, but this is more a guy who's the pants very fitted, the jacket is fit. You know what I mean? So this is this type of fragrance. So it's a contain a different type of crowd. So I really really enjoy this fragrance. And obviously, I'm going to end this review. This is by Better World Fragrance. This is Summer Mink Drake fragrance. I think he did a really good job on this one because obviously I do wear it a lot. And by the way, when I first got this bottle was actually full. I probably got at least about like about I would say a 10 mil left. I mean a 20 mil left in it. It's not completely full because I've been using it. I wore this for like 2 weeks straight. Again, so I really really do enjoy this fragrance. But anyway, peace out everybody. Hope everybody have a great Easter.